How did you find out you were getting cheated on?
The other girl was wearing my clothes in front of me. Edit. Thanks for all the love, guys. The one part of this entire debacle that was hysterical was that she tried to deny that she was wearing my clothes when I confronted her, until I pointed out the oil stain on the white shirt she was wearing, which my sister caused when she borrowed said shirt without asking. Plot twist. She and I are friendly now, and he's off being miserable somewhere else.
A flirty text from a guy popped up on while we were looking at her phone for a place to eat. He complimented a picture I had just taken of her. She sent it to him while around me. Bold. Also, this happened in the Eiffel Tower, only a couple of hours into what was supposed to be 2-week vacation. I didn't know at the time we broke up for sure, but she was engaged a week after we broke up. I can't even figure out how that worked exactly.
We broke up before I found out too. In my head, I thought the 6-year-long relationship just ran its course, and I was even happy. I felt I was gaining a true lifelong friend. 2 weeks later, I get a call from the other woman. She flew him out across the country to meet her parents. He gets there and decides he doesn't want to date her. Out of spite, she calls me and tells me about their 3-year-long affair. I still need a therapist to unpack that shit. Edit. Really didn't expect so much support on this comment. Truly appreciate the validation and kindness everyone has shown. My neighbor told me that there was an odd car parked in my driveway when the ex was supposed to be at work. I feel like this is the way it would be revealed in my town. My acquaintances and neighbors will ask me, "Why was the moving van in your driveway on October 6th? Kind of thing. Everyone knows everyone's business here. He gave me his phone to hold while he was having a minor medical procedure, and while in the waiting room, a text came through. It said something like, "Ha, so we can do the deed again?" And I was totally confused, so I scrolled up through the text thread and read, "I'm sorry if you feel guilty," and "No, I'd only feel guilty if I still loved her." And that was the end of that relationship. My daughter told me, "My friends found out before me and knew they, the cheaters, were going to the movies together. My friends breed me to go see a movie with them so that I could catch them in the act, because they knew I wouldn't believe them if they just told me. True friends. Edit. Begged, not breed." He hooked up with random girls when he was supposed to be at his mom. One evening at a friend's party, there was a girl who wasn't of our group, a friend of a friend. She went, "Oh, hi, remember me? It was so fun." The other woman knocked on my front door and asked me to take my kid and get out, so that the two of them could be together and be happy. I told her she could have him, but they'd have to go because technically I owned the house. I then told him he was free to go. He did not go, sadly. She'd been dropped off by her ex who she'd cheated on with my ex-husband. That was quite awkward.
Phone bill. She was texting some random number 600 times a month. I thought I recognized the number, and when I put it in my phone, it was a buddy of mine. This is actually how it started for me. I was looking at revising our phone plan to one with less data and happened to notice a massive amount of texts on her line. Dug into the records and found it was to a coworker. About 48 HRs later, I got home from work, night shift, and she wasn't home. Took a random guess and drove to their office at 4 a.m. For some reason, common ground made sense. Found them both in the parking lot.
Similar. Large, unexplained cash withdrawals, then the phone bill. In those days, landline bills listed all your calls. I called a number just to see who this strange number was that repeated on the bill so many times. I spoke to his wife. She casually informed me he usually had affairs with his students. He then actually called me and told me that his relationship with my wife was none of my business, and that I was wrong to bring his wife into it. Seriously. A man knocked on my door and introduced himself as the husband of a woman that my husband worked with. He was there to tell me that his wife was having an affair with my husband. My husband never came home after that. He got an Airbnb and told me to get a lawyer. We had been together for 24 years. Holy shit, people can be so cruel. I'm so sorry that happened. I hope you're happier now.
She stopped giving me hugs. Sometimes you just know, fuck guys, thanks for all the love. Together for about 8 years, married for only 3. Crazy story, but we were living in an abusive scenario with another person, and she was what was keeping me sane. It was rough to realize she was cheating on me with this guy. I feel better now. Definitely learned over time that questioning yourself and spending time wondering what you could have done different is essentially pointless.
When I saw her reflected in his sunglasses in a picture that he texted me, went on a solo road trip to California from New York. My then boyfriend of 5 years was supposed to fly to San Diego when I arrived. Then we'd drive home together, pick him up from the airport, use his phone to pull up directions for our restaurant reservation. He gets a notification from a social media app he must have forgotten to delete. I ask him about it, he grabs his phone and deletes the app. Says it would hurt me more to read the conversations he'd been having with women, and that I'm obviously going to dump him either way, so he wanted to save himself the embarrassment of getting exposed. I made him call his mom and arranged to have his stuff moved out of our apartment, told him to find his own way home, finished the road trip home without him. When I got home, it was like he'd never lived there. Exactly how I wanted.